All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about something huge, Hugging Face. This platform has basically become the sun that the entire AI universe revolves around.
So, let's just jump right in with a question that kind of gets to the heart of this whole thing. What if you could take one of the world's most powerful AIs, the kind that costs millions to create, and get it working for you in, just 3 lines of code?
Well, that's pretty much the promise of Hugging Face. Seriously, think of it as the ultimate hub for all things AI. It's this amazing open source platform where people aren't just, talking about AI, they're actually sharing it, building on top of each other's work, and making it available to literally everyone.
So you hear this phrase a lot, the GitHub for AI. But what does that actually mean? Well, it's a perfect analogy. You know how GitHub is where all the software code lives? Hugging Face is exactly that, but for AI. It's the one place where the models, the datasets they were trained on, and all the code you need to use them, it all just lives together. And it's this whole ecosystem, really, built on a few core ideas. You've got the hub, that's like the giant public library where you can find anything you need. Then there's the Transformers library, which is kind of the magic wand that makes it all easy to use. Spaces, that's your showroom, where you can show off what you've built. And of course, the Datasets library, that's your raw material, all the stuff you need to get started.
Okay, let's get into the fun stuff, because this is where it feels like you're getting an actual AI superpower. We're going to see how that whole 3 lines of code thing isn't just a marketing line, it's real. The secret sauce here is this amazing little command called pipeline. It comes from that Transformers library we mentioned. What it does is, it basically hides all the complicated, messy code for you. It lets you just focus on what you actually want to do, not the nitty-gritty setup.
And it really is just a simple 3-step process. Seriously. 1, you import the pipeline. 2, you tell it what you need, like sentiment analysis. And 3, you just hand over your data. That's it. The pipeline takes care of all the heavy lifting in the background. So let's say you want to know if a customer review is positive or negative, right? You just fire up a sentiment analysis pipeline, give it the sentence, and bam! The model comes back and tells you it's positive and even gives you a confidence score. It's that fast.
Or, hey, what about generating some creative text? It's the exact same idea. You can grab a super powerful model, something like GPT-2, give it a starting line like once upon a time, and it just takes it from there and continues the story. Need to translate something? You guessed it, same deal. Just tell it the language pair, say English to French, hand it your sentence, and you get a perfect translation right back. It's incredibly straightforward.
And this gets even wilder. There's this technique called zero-shot classification. Get this, you can give the AI some text and then a list of categories that you literally just made up on the spot. And the model is smart enough to figure out which category fits best, even though it's never, ever seen those labels before. Mind-blowing, right? Okay, so using these off-the-shelf models is already amazing, but the real magic happens when you can make them an expert in whatever you care about. And that brings us to our next big idea, making models your own. The way we do this is with a process called fine-tuning. So, picture this. You take one of those giant pre-trained models that's learned from, the entire internet, books, everything, and you just continue its education but only on your specific data. It transforms from this generalist know-it-all into a hyper-focused expert on exactly what you need it to be. But wait a second. That's the big question, right? These models are enormous. We're talking billions of parameters. Wouldn't you need a warehouse full of supercomputers and a crazy budget to retrain something that big? Well, the answer is this absolutely brilliant set of techniques called parameter-efficient fine-tuning, or PEFT for short. And the core idea is surprisingly simple. Instead of messing with the entire massive model, you just freeze it, leave it alone, and train a tiny, tiny new layer of parameters on top. The original model stays completely untouched. And this method is just ridiculously efficient. You're freezing something like 99% of the original model and only training that tiny little fraction. What does that mean for you? It means you can now fine-tune a huge, state-of-the-art model on a single GPU you might have in your gaming PC. That is a complete game changer from making this tech available to everyone. All right, so you fine-tuned your model. It's an expert now. The next logical step, of course, is to share it. You've got to turn that code into something that real people can actually interact with. And guess what? Hugging Face has you covered there too, with another amazing tool in the ecosystem called Gradio. It's built for one thing and one thing only, creating a simple web demo for your model with a laughably small amount of code. And I'm not kidding, this is basically all the code you need. You just import the library,
create what's called an interface, and tell it three things. Here's my function, it needs a text box for input, and it's going to produce some text as output. Then you just launch it.
And just like that, what you get is a clean, working web app. Now anyone can go to a simple URL, type something in a box, click a button, and get a response straight from your AI model. It's that perfect bridge from a script running on your machine to a tool that anyone in the world can use.
So it's super important to remember that none of this happens in a vacuum. It's all possible because of the huge collaborative community that is the engine behind this whole platform. And the scale of this open source world, well, it's just mind-boggling.
Just try to wrap your head around this for a second. Right now, as we speak, there are over 2 million models sitting on the hub, ready for you to download and use. That's 2 million models for pretty much any task you can dream up, in any language, all shared by this incredible global community of researchers, companies, and just regular people.
And of course, to train or fine-tune a model, you need data, right? Well, the hub has that covered too. We're talking more than 500,000 datasets. It's everything from movie reviews to complex medical images. It is, without a doubt, the biggest collection of shared knowledge of its kind ever. Which really brings us to the final and maybe most important point. For the first time in history, the most powerful AI tools ever created aren't locked away in some secret corporate lab. They're open, they're free, and you can access them with just a few lines of code. So the only real question left to ask is, what are you going to build?